let's see, you guys may not have been able to hear me because I think my mic was muted. So if you can hear me, please let me know. That should be fixed. And let me know you guys are here. And yep, I see you. All right. Perfect. Sorry about that, guys. Trying to get back from being away and get all the gear back to doing what it's supposed to do. That takes a little bit of something. So let's see. So Evelyn says, I see the beard and coffee. Yeah, I wasn't able to grow the beard out in time for the live stream. So wanted to make sure the thumbnail represented the spirit in which we were trying to do this, since Dustin is off being lazy. And Milady Laugh a Lot says she was here, but it said live in 52 minutes. And yes, I was saying I set this up while I was at my parents' house, and I knew there was no way that I'd be able to be on here before 7:30, probably because we were driving back and we just had a lot of stuff we were going to have to do. And I set this live stream up and did not think about the fact that I was in an Eastern time zone instead of a Central time zone like I am here. And so I set it up for 7:30, but didn't think about the fact that that was actually 6:30 my time. It's like, there is no way I'm getting up at like 5:30 to be ready for this thing by 6:30. So I had to go in and reset that. So I apologize for any of that confusion. Benita is here with her coffee. I got mine too. Just Susie's Thoughts have my hazelnut cinnamon coffee ready, black, hence the flavored kind, ready to go. Good morning, Bonita, everyone. Lynn is here. Good morning, Chris, Ash, and everyone. I love the thumbnail. Well, thank you, Lynn. Ash is probably not going to join on the live stream today. She's trying to get us unpacked and have everything cleaned up from yesterday because her youngest brother is getting married this week, the end of this week. And so this entire week is going to be wedding related tasks and festivities. I'm making about 144 cupcakes, and then about 144 brownies, and all of this for the reception. I got given the task of making the cupcakes because although I'm a carnivore most of the time and sometimes a keto guy and very rarely have cheat meals, I still apparently make the best cupcakes anybody's ever had. So they asked if I would make cupcakes for the wedding. So I agreed to do so. So I'm going to be very busy. So Ash is trying to get everything ready because it's going to be a busy week with her family coming in town. So Maritza's here, says, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great morning. I have already done prayers. Well, that's wonderful. We're really glad that you're here. And everybody's just saying hello to everybody. Just Susie's Thoughts. I had a jiggle session on the vibration plate. That always makes me feel good and awake. Oh, I've never used one of those. That's interesting. Ellen says, good morning, Dustin. Chris, yeah. I mean, listen, we might be interchangeable in certain aspects, so you never know. Everybody just saying hello. Sherry Lynn is here, says community yard sale this weekend, so I'm sitting in the driveway hoping to sell Dad's inversion table, drinking my coffee and patiently waiting. That's great, Sherry. Glad you're here. Hopefully that sale goes well for you. Let's see. Everybody just saying hello. There's everybody that was telling me I had no sound, so apologize, but glad we got that fixed. And let's see what we got here. Richard Williams is here. Good morning, neighbors from Copper Hill, Tennessee. Well, it's good to see you, neighbor. Sean is here. Good morning, all. Hope you're doing well, Sean. And Annette is here. Good morning. Lewis Stone is here. Good morning. Easy Peasy Keto says, good morning, world. Carl Keto Dog is here. Good morning, Carl. And let's see. Here's to our health, says Stuck on Indiana. Thumbs up. Yes, thumbs up. Speaking of thumbs up, make sure to thumbs up the live stream here this morning and let everybody know that we're live, because this is very much off of my typical schedule of live streaming. We'd love to get some more people in here. And honestly, I'd love to get a bunch of people who maybe find my videos and find my live streams to actually go to Dustin's channel over at Keto Simple and maybe join in on these live streams on Sunday mornings, because it's a lot of fun. I've got his channel linked in the description box. So anyone who likes to have Sunday morning coffee and hang out with people in the keto and carnivore world who are supportive and not yelling at you about what you are not doing right. Dustin's whole crew over there in the Keto Simple world is very, very cool. I love hanging out with them on Sunday mornings. Try to be there most Sundays as much as I can be. And if you don't know about Dustin, you should totally go subscribe to his channel, and you should come join us in the community and just talk on Sundays. It's a lot of fun. Let's see. Sean says, I feel you there, Chris. 6:30 on a weekend is way too early. You know, when I was working my day job and I got switched over to the day shift, I would get up at 5 a.m. every day. And even on days that I wasn't working, I was still usually up about that same time, because I just always had to be up. And I would try to sleep in a little bit, but it just didn't make me feel very good to do so most of the time. And I would also be up late because we're musicians and we're doing our thing. And I was like up late and up early and exhausted all the time and all this kind of stuff. And now that I'm not doing that day job anymore, and doing YouTube and music is what we do full time now, I really try to keep as consistent of a schedule as I can. And I really try to not be up excessively early if I've had to be up late. I don't mind getting up somewhat early. I don't want to like sleep in and be one of those bums that sleeps in until noon or 1, and then hangs out for another 2 hours before I ever get anything done. Like, I'm not trying to do that, but I don't want to be up crazy early all the time anymore, because I mean, as musicians, we do have to be out later sometimes, and I kind of run my own schedule now. So if I don't really have to be up super early, I really try not to overdo it. Like, I'll be up, but I just try not to be up like ridiculously early so that I'm not struggling. Milady Laugh Lot says she's in Colorado, so she can stay and watch before her walk. It's still dark here. Woo! That does feel early. My parents and I lived in Colorado for a little while out in Castle Rock. So what part of Colorado are you from? We lived in Castle Rock for a couple of years when I was a kid, and I enjoyed it out there. It was fun, especially getting to go skiing and stuff. That was always a blast. Let's see. We have... Oh, there's my beautiful, lovely wife, Ash Taylor, in the comments. She's probably downstairs having her coffee and starting to clean on things, and probably pulled me up on her phone. So hello, my love. I hope you're enjoying your coffee downstairs and having fun cleaning and taking care of that ridiculous dog. Maritza says, so glad you got home safe. Yeah, us too. That would not have been fun to be stuck out there somewhere. So let's see. I'm kind of bouncing around a little bit here, guys, because there were a bunch of comments, but also my comment section keeps bouncing up and down a little bit. I'm not really sure why. So until I get caught up, it's just going to kind of be a pain in the butt, I guess, and bounce around on me here. So let's see. So we have everybody saying hello and good morning. See, I love this. I love this whole thing that you guys do. So, oh, there's Chaotic Carnivore. Hello, Chaotic Carnivore. If you guys don't know, Chaotic Carnivore is a friend of the channel, and she went away for a while and had some stuff she had to take care of in her own life, and she is being very courageous about sharing it very honestly on her channel. And if you guys don't subscribe, you should, because I think there's going to be a lot of inspiration that comes from, guess what? We're not perfect. None of us are. And we are doing the best that we can here. But we all have things we have to deal with, and we have challenges. And I've talked with you guys about it on my channel. I have struggled in the past with carb addiction, and I was doing well. And then I went off the rails. And a number of months I was off the rails. I gained a bunch of weight back, had a bunch of health issues that returned. And I had to deal with my carb addiction. And I had to come back. And that's when I started my YouTube channel, was the second time around. on carnivore, and it took me a little while to get everything going. And it's a lot. So the fact that she has dealt with some things and she's taken care of it and she's talking about it on her channel and trying to tell you guys, like, here's what I'm going through and here's how I'm doing this, I think it's a lot of courage it takes to do that, and I think she deserves support. So guys, go over to Chaotic Carnivore and hashtag Team Chaos in the comment section here. Show her that we support her and that we've got her back, and we'd love to see her succeed. So hashtag Chaotic Carnivore, hashtag Team Chaos, and go subscribe to her channel. She's great. Her roommates too, but yeah, they're all doing really great. Tina says you're going to share your cupcake recipe. Tina, no, I'm not going to, because if I shared a cupcake recipe on this channel, every single dogmatic keto and carnivore person in the entire world would show up to absolutely crucify me in the comments section for the fact that I occasionally make things for people that are not keto and carnivore, and the level of anger and hatred that would bring out of a minority of the community, but a very loud minority of the community, would definitely not be worth the time. So it is not a keto or carnivore cupcake. It is a real, honest to goodness cupcake, because I don't believe I have the right to tell other people what they should or shouldn't eat. And if somebody requests that I be the person who offers a service for them for their wedding, I think it would be extremely disrespectful for me to say, well, I'm a carnivore or I'm on keto, I can't possibly do that for you. I think that would be doing the exact opposite of what I'm trying to do with helping people, which is weird to say, but I think, sometimes making something that's not good for you because it's a celebration shows people that you're reasonable and logical, and then it makes them more likely to listen to you when you talk about why keto and carnivore are a good thing. So I still do stuff like that from time to time. And although I try not to eat stuff like that, and it's a very rare case where I do have any kind of a cheat meal, and I do occasionally, but I try to keep it very rare, and I never feel good after I do. I am not one of those people who will refuse to do it for others, because my life and my choices should not dictate what other people do in that way, I don't believe. And I think it would be presumptuous of me to think that if someone requests that I do something because I'm good at it, that I'm somehow making a difference or making them more likely to consider what I'm saying if I sort of in a almost defiant way am like, no, I won't do that for you. So to each their own. And if that's something that bothers someone's conscience, then I would say they shouldn't do it. But for me personally, I think it's a really important thing to show my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law that I care about them and do the thing that they've asked me to do to help out. So I will not be sharing my cupcake recipe, because no one in this space is probably looking to make those, but they're real good. That's all I can say. We got Cat Diamond from California. It's only 5:30 here, man. You are up early. Good morning from the hospital in Tyler, Texas. Mike Homage. Am I saying that properly? I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm totally mispronouncing your YouTube handle there, but I'm sorry that you're in the hospital. I hope it's not anything too serious for you or whoever else it is that you guys are there in the hospital. So hope all is well soon. But we're really glad that you're here anyway. So there's Cindy Demanch. Hello, Cindy. Cindy and I are going to be doing some videos together. We got her and Brian coming down here to Nashville. So y'all be on the lookout. That's going to be coming in the future. We're going to have some fun with Cindy and Brian down here. Matt Franklin is here. Good morning, Matt. And Lynn says Dustin's usually on a little early at 7:30. This is perfect at 8:30. Yeah, this is a little more my speed. That's why I'm always jumping into Dustin's live streams late, because there's no way I'm going to be awake and downstairs and ready with my coffee by the time he's on in the morning. So it's just not happening. So Catherine Drake says good morning, everybody, from Hedgesville. I think I'm pronouncing that right. We're glad to see you, Catherine. Thank you for being here. Lady Laughlaw says, hoping to make your acquaintance at Keto Palooza. It's coming up quick. Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely see you there. We're looking forward to that. And guys, if you're going to be at Keto Palooza, put KPL in the chat. Let us know. Ash and I are going to be there. We're not going to be hard to spot. We're distinct looking people when we're musicians and we come walking into a room. Everybody realizes it's us because we dress like musicians usually. So, I mean, here you see me in a t-shirt and all that kind of stuff a lot. But when we're out and everything, we look like musicians. So we're usually not hard to find, and I would love for you guys to come up. And if you're comfortable with it, come up and give us a hug. If you're not a handshaker, fist bump is totally fine. But we love hugs. Ash especially loves hugs, and she will initiate those hugs. I'm a big furry guy, so I tend not to initiate hugs because some people get weirded out or upset by that. I've had that happen a couple of times in my life where I literally did not intend anyone to be upset, and then they took offense at that. So just for the sake of being careful, I do not generally initiate hugs, but if you are down for a hug, you can come on up and you throw your arms around me. That's fine. And we would love to see all of you there and actually put a face with a name. So Sean says, Shell and I saw a Nashville band on Friday. Don't know if you heard of them. Nothing More, metal band. I have not heard of them. I'm not real familiar with the metal scene here, but I have a couple of friends who are real deep in it. I bet anything they would know them for sure. So, Dustin would be proud referencing the metal bands. So, everybody, just saying hello. Tina says, I would love to see the video of you making the cupcakes. I appreciate that. If you want a standard American diet cupcake recipe from me, it's very simple, but feel free to send me an email on my website, chriscookingnashville.com. You can go there and you can use the contact form, or you can just find my email on the contact page or any of that. Just send me an email if you would like to know how I make cupcakes. It's, like I said, just to avoid the wrath of people in the community, I probably won't put something online. But if you would like to know how I make those, I would be more than happy to. Maritza says Keto Chow cupcakes. These are not Keto Chow cupcakes. These are straight up going to kill you cupcakes, but that's what they want. Cindy says you should make some carnivore cupcakes and some keto cupcakes too. Yeah, I think at some point in time I may. With everything else I have going on, I don't think developing a keto and carnivore recipe and making cupcakes for the wedding is probably a smart idea. Because like I said, I'm making essentially dessert for about 200 people, and adding in an extra thing that I need to do on top of that this week is probably something my wife would kill me for. So, I'm also cooking dinner for the entire family the day after the wedding. They're all coming over here. And so it's going to be very, very busy. And then basically we have dinner and then we have one day off. And then Ash and I hop on a plane and we fly to California for a week of shows. So we are running and trying to keep up with everything as best we can. Carl says, I lived in Manitou Springs and Colorado Springs for many years. It's beautiful out there. And yeah, just everybody talking, everybody here. Malay Laughlaw says, I live in Ohio now. I'm visiting my mom who's in the hospital in Pueblo this week, but she's home now and much better. Well, I'm glad she's doing better. So that's really good. Really, really glad that she is doing better. Let's see who else we got here. See, there it is, jumping on me again. There we are. Donna is here, says, morning, Chris, from foggy northwestern Pennsylvania. Well, Donna, thank you so much. Glad that you are here. Very good to see you. And let's see. We have... Lynn says it's the first day of fall today. Well, I'm sure glad. It's been hot lately, so... Oh, there's Brenda Foley. Brenda, we got to meet Brenda when we were in Russell Springs, Kentucky. She and Cindy and Brian and Cindy's sister Deb and a whole bunch of Brenda's family who are, I believe, around there in Russell Springs. They all came out to our show. We got to meet everybody, and y'all were wonderful. It was so good to get to meet you guys in person. So, Brenda, we're glad that you're here. And let's see. Here's to our health says you're not wrong about sharing your cupcake recipe. Wise man. Yeah. Guys, here's the deal. There are people in the community that talk about it's not ancestrally appropriate to have a cupcake. It's not ancestrally appropriate to do this. It's not ancestrally appropriate to do that. And they use that, and not that I disagree, but they use that as a way to be very critical of other people. And it's not a lot of people, but there are people in the keto and carnivore world. They're very bold in being loud about that. And I understand what they're saying and get their point. But it's also not ancestrally appropriate to use a computer or a cell phone. And if you can come on my YouTube channel and comment that stuff, then apparently you are in fact doing that. There are things we do that are not, quote, ancestrally appropriate because we either like convenience or we choose to do it because we just enjoy it, or, whatever. It's one of the benefits of modern technology and modern society is there's things that even though we didn't do them 1,000 years ago, we can enjoy doing them now. And I'm not saying you should make cupcakes and go eat them and that you should enjoy it because we now have that kind of stuff available. I'm not saying you should do that. But if you choose to, that's up to you. It's your life and it's your choice. And it's entirely based on what you want out of your life. And I don't think anyone else should have the right to criticize you or jump down your throat or be disrespectful towards you or whatever as a result of that. Even if it's not good for your ideal health, there are other things you may choose to do that for. Like sometimes, and it's rare, but sometimes I have a cheat meal. And the reason I do that is because the situation I'm in, the social involvement of the things going on around me is more important to me than the one meal I'm having that's not particularly good. And here's the other thing, as far as ancestrally appropriate, there were times ancestrally where we did not do well with the hunt and there was no meat to eat. And people would eat whatever they could to avoid starvation. I mean, there were times of famine and they would eat whatever they could for survival. Now, I'm not saying that's good for your ultimate health, but our bodies ancestrally are designed to be able to handle a little bit of something here and there if we have to. Not that it's good for us and not that we feel our best doing it, but it is possible. So are you going to feel your best if you have a cupcake? No. Is that going to be good for your long-term health? Like doing something good for your body? No. Can your body handle that without it being like something that throws you off a cliff and makes you die? Yeah, because your body can handle those kinds of things. Now, if you're talking about addiction and being attached to sugar and the carbohydrate addiction and it's spurring something that causes you to go off the rails, that's a totally different conversation. And each person has to know that about themselves. And I don't think it's my place or anybody else's place to tell someone, you better not do that because you're just feeding your addiction, even though I know nothing about you. That's the problem. And that's, unfortunately, if you post something like that, especially on a channel like mine, that's the people that are going to come out of the woodwork and say, see, I knew you weren't a real carnivore. This is why you're fat. This is why. I get these comments anyway. And if I give them more cannon fuel to, to just continue lobbing more shots like that, because I did something like share a cupcake recipe, it would just take so much time in my comment section away from the things that we actually need to be there for. And it's like, Dustin talks about like every now and then, he's out with his granddaughter and she wants to feed him a French fry, and it's like, she's a little girl. She doesn't understand that he's trying to eat keto and, I can't have that French fry. I mean, don't do that. It's like, enjoy the memories and enjoy the moment with your family and enjoy the things. And if you can do that and have that little thing that's not perfect keto or carnivore, and you can still be all right and not go off the rails, that's a choice each person needs to make. Now, if you can't do that, then don't do it. And that's totally fine. But you can't say, I have a carbohydrate addiction issue, therefore you should. We can't do stuff like that. And there's a very loud few people in this community that like to come on videos on channels like mine and talk about Ash and I being fat and talk about how we're not doing it right and all this kind of stuff. And cupcakes would just give them way more ammunition. And I just don't need to give them any more reasons to pay attention to my channel. So I deal with it enough already. Let's see. Cindy says, I wish it was only upon waking instead of all day, talking about, I believe, some neck pain. So I hope you are feeling all right there, Cindy, and get that feeling better. Brenda says, I sure appreciate Ash in the dog food video. Yeah, I thought that was a great video. She did a wonderful job. If you guys haven't seen it, we did a video on how we feed our golden retriever. And again, there's, dogmatic people that can't play the listening game. We put some rice and some veggies in Mel's food currently because we have tried all variations. We have tried totally carnivore. We've tried keto with just the veggies. We have tried with the rice, all this kind of stuff. We've tried raw, we've tried cooked, we've tried different meats, we've tried all kinds of things. We've been doing this for over 2 years. And we have found the particular combination we have right now is what keeps her healthiest, happiest. Her blood work is perfect. She's not up in the middle of the night with diarrhea, like all these issues, and everything is good. Now we're slowly working to get things like the grains and maybe even eventually the veggies out of her food. But golden retrievers have very sensitive stomachs, and she especially seems to. And if we change anything too quickly, it turns into a really big problem where we are up all night and she is going out every 30 minutes and she's outside for 30 minutes at a time. And it's just not good. It's just not good. So we use the rice because it settles her tummy, and we're going to slowly over time reduce that rice. It's taken us a long time to get to where we are, and we're going to take our time to get to where we want to be, but we're doing it slowly, and people can't apparently listen because I put that in the video. But regardless, that video is there if you guys want to know how we make homemade dog food and the amazing health effects that has had on Miss Melody, the golden retriever. And her health is perfect, like absolutely perfect. The vet was blown away when we started doing this. Ash did an amazing job behind the camera. If you haven't seen it, you can go watch that video. It's really, really cool. So, Huntley says, good morning. I have my coffee and I'm here. Well, Huntley, we're glad you're here. And Lynn says, I still make regular sad desserts for my non-keto friends occasionally. I still enjoy making them and they love them. I never eat them. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I may eat a little bit every once in a while when I make something for someone else. I just don't have very much. And then I go right back to what I need to do. I very rarely ever do that, but I'll make stuff for other people because loving other people by doing something that they've requested is not the same thing as making decisions for your own diet. And it's like, if you feel convicted, you shouldn't do that. That's fine. But I don't feel convicted that I shouldn't do that. I try to do that and then encourage them to consider keto and carnivore by setting a quiet example, or if I have the opportunity to have that conversation where it's not forced and it's not me berating them or putting down what they do. And if they're really willing to listen, I will talk with them about it. But I don't go jumping into that right away because that is not something people respond well to. When's the last time somebody started yelling at you about something and it inspired you to change? So just a thought. Just Susie thoughts. Brenda, yes, the dog food video was great. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. We had a good time making that. Andy is here. Never caught you live. Yippee. Well, Andy, I'm glad you're here. If you see the beginning of the video, I was talking about Dustin at Keto Simple. He does a live every Sunday, and I'm usually hanging out in his chat. He is busy today, so I'm doing this sort of just kind of filling in for him a little bit. So you should totally come hang out on Dustin's lives, and I'll be there in the chat usually most Sundays. So Sean says maybe bake some carnivore cupcakes. Just let people taste the difference. Show them there's not much difference between them. Just a thought. I still think you're doing the right thing. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I agree. This is not my wedding, and this is not a place where I need to be trying to preach keto or carnivore or telling people anything. This is my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law's wedding. This is not the place. So I need to respectfully do what they have requested for me to do, and I need to not do anything else because taking their wedding and making a dessert that is keto or carnivore to try to show people the difference between the two is taking their wedding reception and making it about me and making it about keto and carnivore. And I think that would be really disrespectful. So it's this whole week, keto and carnivore is my thing. This week isn't about me. So I'm going to make the cupcakes and I'm going to leave it alone and let them let them do their thing. So, yeah, KPL. There's everybody coming to KPL. You pronounced it correctly. I'm getting MRIs, track progression of multiple sclerosis, taking a couple of weeks physical therapy. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you said I pronounced it correctly. I'm glad I was able to do that. And I hope your MRIs to show the progression of the multiple sclerosis give you some good news. And I hope the physical therapy is helpful for you. So, but I'm very glad that you're here to hang out with us and that we can offer you some support, if it's nothing more than moral support for what you're doing. So really glad you're here. And Easy Peasy Keto says, I cook meals for the soup kitchen that aren't keto, but are cleaner as the clients aren't keto. But when any of them come to our home, they enjoy our keto meals. Yeah, I think that's a cool way to do it. Like just you take care of people the best you can without forcing something down their throats. And if they come to your house, you can make keto stuff for them. And it's like, the thing is, a lot of keto dishes you can make, you wouldn't even have to tell people it's keto and they wouldn't even know the difference. And that's great. So I just don't want to be in a situation where someone's like, hey, make cupcakes. And then I make something and I'm like, hey, it's a cupcake. And they're like, is it though? This isn't what I asked you for. So, my cupcakes, like the real ones, are what they want. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So that's why I'm going to do those. But I think that's awesome that you can like do things for a soup kitchen like that and make it cleaner, even if it's not keto. And then if people come to your house, they can have keto with you. I think that's really cool. Because when it's your house, you can make it more about what you do. I think that's really cool. Carol is here, says hi all. Hi, Carol. We're glad you're here. And a bunch of people coming to KPL. So Cindy says definitely a hugger. Sadly, wasn't much of that growing up. Well, Cindy, I'm sorry, but I'm glad you're a hugger, and we're here ready for hugs. And we're looking forward to seeing you again at KPL and then again here in Nashville. So let's see. I saw Uncle Big Guy is here. And of course, my comment section jumped. But let's see. Now I got to go back up where I was. There we are. Uncle Big Guy, howdy hall. Hi, Chris. Uncle Big Guy, we're glad you're here. And everybody just saying hello. Matt says it's a great day. Sarah Joy's channel is almost to 600. She made it 500 last month. That's great, Matt. Very glad to hear that. Sean says I do bro hugs. One arm, really quick chest bump. Yeah, I like that. Bro hugs are good. We always enjoy bro hugs. I always do the one arm with like the bro hug thing, like the one arm and the smack on the back a couple of times. So yeah, that's always fun. Guys are weird with hugs, man. So especially some of them, like they get real weirded out by it. Cindy says not making them for the wedding, just for those of us that watch you. Yes, I might have to do some kind of a cupcake recipe as I'm thinking about all that now. So Lynn says, send me a big virtual hug from KPL. Sadly, I won't be able to hang out with all of you fun people there. Well, Lynn, I'm sorry we won't be able to see you there, but I'm sure we'll find you somewhere along the way here. We come up to Indiana pretty regularly, so I'm sure we'll be in your neck of the woods at some point. I know we're going to do more work with Sweetwater in the future, so when that happens, make sure to, if you're around, make sure to figure out a way that we can come see you. So, Andy says, Matt, it's great about Sarah's channel. New favorite of Andy's. It's awesome. With all the fall festivals going on, how about some fair food recipes? Yeah, we might be able to do something like that. I've already got recipes filmed for about the next 3 or 4 weeks because we are going to be in California. We're going to be traveling several different places. We're going to be at Keto Palooza. We're going to be out a lot. So we have to do all the editing and filming and all that stuff very much in advance. But after that, we might be able to do some fair food stuff. That'd be kind of fun. Cindy says, looking forward to being there with you and Ash. We are looking forward to it as well. We love Cindy. Cindy is just family. So is Brenda. So is Lynn. So is Sean. We have a whole bunch of people in this community that it's like, you guys are just family. We just love all of you. Cheryl is here. Hello from Pittsburgh. Well, hey there, Cheryl. Yeah, we've got a bunch of people watching today, guys. Make sure to hit the thumbs up if you haven't already and share this. Let somebody know that we're live because we're just here to hang out as a community and have a good time. Oh, there's my mom and dad here on our way to church. Well, that sounds fun. I hope you guys have a good time at church today. And Sean says it's not ancestrally appropriate to be a tool on the internet. Man, is that not the truth? Listen, we all have our own views, and I think that's cool. I think that's part of what makes us such a diverse community is that we have kind of our own approaches. We're all figuring this out together, and we're all trying to, understand the best way to do this. But the people in the community that like to beat other people up for not doing it the same way or not being as strict or whatever. It's just a pure ego thing. And being a tool on the internet is a perfect description of it. And I appreciate you saying that. And I talk about that on my channel, not because I want to focus on those people, but I talk about that because I can tell you guys from experience, when I was really brain fogged and struggling with depression and anxiety and trying to figure out should I even try keto or carnivore or any of this stuff, people like that really turned me off because I didn't know how to see what they were saying as them being a tool. I saw it as I don't know what I'm doing and I'm failing and I've got to figure this out because if I don't, I'm just going to be fat and sick and I'm going to die and all this stuff. And what am I going to do? And I'm not good enough. You get all up inside your own head because you can't think clearly. Like there's no way to think clearly in those kinds of things. And people like that want to make themselves feel superior to others. And so they beat people up. At some point in time, someone has to stand up and say, knock that off. You're being worthless as a human being by choosing to act that way. And I guess I'm just the one to do it. So, I feel like there are too many people that are in need of help. And it's like, are they going to go strict meat, salt, water, carnivore overnight? No, probably not. But if I can give them mashed potatoes and I can give them pasta and I can give them all these different things and it gets them off a standard American diet, headed low carb and then maybe eventually keto and maybe even considering carnivore, that's a big service to the world if we can get more people to consider that. Like that's a big deal. You can change a lot of lives with even just small changes. And it's like, I don't need people to be perfect. I just need people to consider moving in a direction that's good for them. That's all I'm here for. So all I'm trying to do. And that's why I love doing what I do. So thank you, Sean, for pointing out that you are absolutely correct. It is not ancestrally appropriate to be a tool on the internet. And everybody's asking about leaves changing, saying hello to my parents. Sorry, I'm going to take a quick coffee break while I scroll through here. Karen says, yes, great video on the dog food prep. I agree. Ash is a natural. She didn't know that she was going to be the one on camera. She thought I was going to do it. And we got home and I was like, no. You're the one that cooks this every week. Like I may have created the recipe, but you're the one that has like this down to a science now because you've been doing it for so long. And I was like, you're going to do great. And she was like, I'm not the person that does the cooking videos. She's like, I don't know anything about cooking. I was like, you don't have to know anything about cooking. Just show people what you do with the dog food recipe. And she was amazing. And I knew she would be. So she did such a wonderful job. And here's the deal. If you want to look at her or you want to look at me on camera, you get a lot prettier person cooking for you when she's the one on the camera. So she's got the on-camera model thing going on. So, and I know she'd be like, if she was sitting here right now, she'd be like, oh my gosh, no, I do not. But she is. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Sean says, your before and after photos are extremely impressive, Chris. Keep your head held high, much like a bad note. Tune them out. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I think it's funny when I put stuff up and, people will say things like, I put a picture up and I had someone say like, this isn't the home run you think it is. And it was like, this is well lit. And then this other picture is dark. And they're coming up with all these like photography reasons that it's like, it doesn't look like you've really lost that much weight. And then they questioned whether I actually do carnivore or not. And I'm like, you can just look at my face and you can tell that there's the difference. And I never said it was a home run, nor have I ever said I'm at my ideal body weight. I just said that you can clearly see my body has changed. And when people say, your body hasn't changed one bit, and I show them pictures like that, it's like, what are you talking about? I'm not saying I'm at my ideal body weight, but It's pretty undeniable my body has changed. You lose 130 pounds like I have, and your body's going to change. Milady Laughlot says, feeding dogs is a science. My 7-year-old Chewini is still an experiment. Yeah. Dogs are interesting because they have a real specific kind of diet they need. But then again, we've also bred them into all these different breeds that have all their own genetic sort of anomalies and weirdness based on which breed it is. Like there's a lot of things to go into there, and they live very short lives. So it's like trying to figure out the best version of what makes them happiest is a process. It's a science, and it does take experimentation. So it's a really good point. Lynn says, just like people, dogs are different too. I'm glad you figured out what works for Mel and her health and happiness. Great video. Yeah, thank you. We're happy that she is happy. That's really what it comes down to. I give that dog a really hard time, but I love that dog, and so does my wife. We do everything we can to try to make her life very happy, because truthfully, their lives are so short. I just want them to be the best they can be. I've grown up with dogs. I love dogs, and just really want for her to be happy and healthy. Hubby was yapping about some PC problem I'm having, so I'm lost in this convo. So sorry. Told him to hush for a minute. Just Susie's thoughts. You're funny. That's okay. No worries. To be honest with you, I feel like I'm lost in this conversation half the time. I'm just trying to keep up. So let's see. And especially it keeps jumping on me like that. And when it jumps on me like that, then I have to scroll back through and figure out where everything is. And it's a process. So guys, I feel like I'm a little bit of a mess this morning. So I'll be honest with you. I did not sleep very well because for those of you that don't know, I have sleep apnea, probably because of the excessive weight that I had. And my dad does too. I think there's a genetic component to why we're really predisposed to sleep apnea. So I sleep with a CPAP machine. And guess who left their CPAP machine in Indiana at his parents' house and didn't realize that until he walked into his bedroom in Nashville last night? Yeah, so I'm sleeping without a CPAP machine until UPS delivers it in a couple of days, and it's not good. So, but it's all right. We're just gonna make do. It's a good reminder of why I still have things to do in my health journey. So, Milady Laugh-A-Lot says, my left hip and legs tell me when I've not eaten right. The inflammation happens fast. Yeah. My left ankle, I have a big metal rod in my left ankle from where I broke it. My left ankle and my right knee that I dislocated when I was in high school, both of those will tell me when I'm not eating right too. So let's see. Okay, now I'm getting caught back up to where we were. Okay, Easy Peasy Keto says, yep, we enjoyed a beer and brats without the bread at the German booth at the festival yesterday. Back on plan when we left there. See, and I think that's super cool. I think that's great. You do what you got to do, and you just go right back to what you need to do and just take care of yourself. And I think as long as you're happy and you're healthy and you're working towards goals, it shouldn't be anybody's job to tell you you're doing it, quote, wrong. Brenda says, not that it is good for my cocker. He will eat whatever you hand feed him. Spoiled rotten. Yeah. Chaotic Carnivore says, I made the mistake of feeding my golden some ham, not deli meat, and with no seasoning on a normal day of her kibble. Her bathroom trip was so loud our neighbors came outside. Lesson learned. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like if you want to get your dog onto an appropriate diet, like, where you're cooking real food and getting them off the kibble and all that stuff, like with Mel, it was a transition. And we did that because we did the research and found out that kibble was causing a lot of health issues for her. And, kibble is kind of junk food anyway. And so we were trying to get her to a better diet. But when we first started, we had to feed her a lot of rice because if we didn't, she would be sick. I mean, throwing up and diarrhea and lethargic. I mean, all these issues. And it took some transition time. And at the time, we lived on the 3rd floor of an apartment complex. I mean, so you want to talk about middle of the night running up and down the stairs multiple times to the dog park. I mean, that was a pain. So, it's especially with Goldens, you got to be careful about how much you do with their stomach because they just have issues. And honestly, Golden Retrievers, a lot of them die from stomach and intestinal problems like cancers or, other problems with their stomachs. They're just genetically sensitive in their stomachs. So we try to change things slowly. Carl Keto Dog says, I just put one of my training clients' dogs on a homemade diet. He is a golden retriever that's 35 pounds overweight. So far, so good. Yeah. Mel was overweight when we switched her to this food. To the first version of it, she was overweight, and within 6 months, she had lost like 20 pounds. And when we did this, like, she was playing fetch every day. We were measuring her food. We were buying this fancy kibble that was super expensive, and she was still overweight. We could not figure out how. Switched her to this proper food diet. It's like a whole food diet, basically. And she just started losing weight. And she was happier. She was more satiated. She wasn't like, every time you sat down with something to eat, she would be almost panicked trying to beg for it. Now, like, she might beg for it, but she's very calm, and she was just a much better dog, just personality wise. I mean, she's always been a great dog, but she was just so much calmer and so much more stable, and it's just amazing, the transformation. Now she's at her ideal body weight after 2 years of us doing this, and her blood work, which she gets done every 6 months, is perfect. The vet literally said it's the best blood work she's seen in a dog in her entire career. So amazing. Maritza loves seeing Ash in the kitchen. Yeah, she was a natural and did such a great job on that video. Just Susie's Thoughts says, good man, Chris. Let them have their reception their way, but I hope you and Ash eat for the wedding and stay on track. Thank you. We're going to do the best we can. So I don't know if we're going to be able to eat before the wedding, because we're also setting up for the wedding, which means we got to be there at like 7 a.m. So I'm in the wedding. Ash is like assisting with some stuff. Like it's a whole thing. So I don't really know what we're going to do. We're just going to do the best we can, and we're just going to go from there. So PD Points 1. So you were from the Cincy area. Yeah. So I'm from 45 minutes west of Cincinnati, little tiny town out there called Sunman, Indiana, out in the middle of the cornfields. There's nothing out there. It's a town of 800 people. So yes, that's pretty close to Cincinnati. So Evelyn says Dustin really wants a corn dog, and it has to be easy. Yeah. I would love to come up with a cool recipe for corn dogs. So we'll have to see what we can do. Frankie over 50. What if you're a stone tool? It's a good question. I have a feeling a few of those guys that I've dealt with, and girls, it's females too, that come in the comments section acting like that. I'm pretty sure that they're definitely stone tools, because you are not going to move them from what they intend to be. How's everybody doing on their coffee, by the way? I'm thoroughly enjoying mine. Let's see. Chaotic Carnivore says, Sean, that's amazing. Yeah. Lynn, your YouTube plaque is hidden behind you this morning, but I know it's there. Yeah, there it is, folks, right there. Little silver play button back there. We worked long and hard to get that, and you guys all watching and supporting what we do is the reason it happened. Thank you so much for what you do. Let's see. Lewis Stone says, nobody is worthless. You can always use them as a bad example. That's very true. Nobody is worthless, but all of those dogmatic people that act that way choose to make themselves so by treating other people that way. And that's what I tell them that sometimes. So Lewis, really glad you're here this morning. Good to see you. Chaotic Carnivore, Ash did amazing. I thought she did too. She also has the benefit. She steps in front of the camera and she's gorgeous. I step in front of the camera and I'm like, I'm a big bearded, hairy guy. It's not fair. Jujubee is here. It's good to see you. She says, at a party last night, and of the 6 of us at the table, 2 were on Wegovy and praising it, and 1 had a gastric sleeve. 2 were sad dieters, told me my lifestyle was extreme. Like, what? Food? Restrictive? I know. Well, and that's the thing. Like, people like that are not going to respond to you beating them over the head with meat, salt, water. Like, I mean, look at what has become so normalized by big food and big pharma and by governmental political movements. Look at what has become normalized. People like that are not going to understand this idea of meat, salt, water is going to save your life. And if you can't do it right, you're wrong. And that's not ancestrally appropriate. Are you trying to help people, or are you just trying to be a douche? Because at that point, you're not helping anybody, And it's like, my recipes are not for people who eat meat, salt, water and are super stable on carnivore to try to pull them back to doing what I do. My recipes are for people who are like, I don't want to do meat, salt, water. Or even if I do, I still want to have options other than that on occasion. My recipes are for people who are on a standard American diet who go, I really need physical healing. I need help with my diet. I need all this kind of stuff. And I think carnivore might be a thing, but it's scary to try. But look, this Chris Cooking Nashville guy has all these recipes. maybe I could give this a try. Maybe it would work. Maybe it just might be a thing, and I might get them one step closer to being able to change their lives. That's what my recipes are for. And it's, the loud nut jobs that want to come on the internet and yell at everybody, they don't understand that, because all they can see is that people aren't as good as them. And no one got time for that. So Jujubee, that is a great example. And thank you for sharing that, because it's a good example of what the world around us is like. And if we want to sit back and talk about how we're better than everybody else, we're just sitting back to feel elevated and then just watch the world burn. And that doesn't help anybody. So I appreciate you sharing that, because it's a good example of what we're trying to battle against. And it takes time and understanding to get people to come around. So Maritza says, I made some keto recipes for my holidays when I was on keto, but never told my family that they had to eat them. And seeing, that's great. Make the stuff for yourself if you want, and that's cool. If you don't beat other people up with it, they're totally okay with it. Even if they think it's a little weird, they're okay with it. And slowly they might come around and they might start to change, especially when they start experiencing health problems and they're like, I need some serious help. So I've gotten a lot of people to at least consider it. My mom works with a lady who tried carnivore and was so afraid to have anything other than just meat, salt, and water because she was having results. My mom convinced her to try my recipes because she was struggling. Like, she didn't want to do meat, salt, water. She was just so afraid she was going to mess up. My mom got her to watch my channel, and she started using my recipes, and she is the thinnest she's ever been in her whole life. She feels amazing. She loves my channel. She loves the recipes. And she's like, I don't do them all the time, but when I do them, it just makes everything so much more stable, and it's amazing. That's the kind of story that I love hearing, and I hear that pretty regularly. It's a really cool thing. So Maritza, that's a fantastic way to do it. You just make it and don't force anybody else to do it. And it's just like, it's here. If you want it, this is what I do. Donna says, I follow another carnivore on YouTube who is super real and relatable and transparent like you are. And she has had many carnivore influencers tell her privately they lie about being strict. I am 100% convinced that a lot of the real strict influencers are either not as strict as they think or are flat out lying. And I don't know exactly which ones. I just know I don't think there's that many people out there that can do meat, salt, water successfully. I don't even think the people coming in the comment section that are yelling at people, most of them are probably as strict as they're claiming to be. And honestly, I don't necessarily know if you need to be. Like, if you need to be for a health reason, fine. But, using it as a metric of how good of a carnivore you are is just crazy. And I'm sure that there are people that lie. I mean, oh my gosh, something on the internet wasn't true. That's why I try to be as transparent as I am about stuff. And it's like, I don't have six-pack. I don't have meat, salt, water figured out. I don't do this perfectly, because guess what? 99.999% of you out there probably don't relate to someone who says those things. I don't look at someone with a six-pack and go, oh yeah, I relate to that. I'd love to have a six-pack, but I don't. Maybe I never will. But you know what? If I had the ability to have all of these health things change in my life, and pain go away, and feel good, and enjoy my food, and have fun, and cook, and all this kind of stuff, or I had a six-pack, I would choose all those other things over the six-pack. Because a six-pack is just about trying to prove to everybody else that you're great. I'm married to a beautiful woman. I have friends and family that care about me exactly the way I am. I don't need a six-pack to try to prove to everyone else that I'm somehow valuable. So, if I could have one, I'd love to have a six-pack. Maybe someday, as I get further along in all of these things, maybe I will. Who knows? But if I don't, I'm okay with that too. As long as I feel good and my health is being taken care of, that's all I care about. Jujubee says, the sad dieter hubby did give me a high five to say diet and exercise, good job, but the rest of them acted like I was so harsh and restrictive. But drugs and surgery is, quote, normal. Yeah, well, and the thing is, the people who make money off of you having the drugs and you getting that surgery, they all tell you, oh, this is totally normal and this is fine, because guess what? It pays their bills and makes them rich, and that's why they do that. So I'm just saying, you follow the money, and it's like, Elizabeth is here. Hello, Elizabeth. People who talk icky like that to people are ugly. Yes, I agree. I agree. And that's why you guys are all beautiful people. And Ash and I try to be beautiful to the best of our ability. And that's why we love you guys. And we just want to be here and support you. So Cindy says, Jujubee, it's a sad world we live in for sure. So many people just don't get it as we didn't before we smartened up. That's right. And the only way for those people to get it is we have to support them. And we have to try to help them. And we have to try to slowly and gradually and gently encourage them to do better things for themselves. And slowly they awaken and they start to see the truth about it too. And it's a thing. But that's also why I tell people they're, super judgmental and dogmatic. It's like, you're not helping anybody. Punching somebody in the head does not make them want to do what you ask them to do anymore. Just saying. Let's see. Jackie's keto journey is here. Hey, Jackie. People also can't see the internal changes. My roommate keeps pushing me to enjoy life, eat the bread and cake. Like, dude, that means migraines, inflammation, and a size 24 pants. I agree. I totally agree. People look at you on the outside, and sometimes it's like, well, why aren't you thin if this is so great? And it's like, well, I didn't wake up with a migraine. I don't have pain in my back. I'm not anxious. I'm not struggling with depression. Like, who cares if I'm not thin? If I don't wake up feeling like I'm a worthless piece of trash that wants to go leap off a building every day, that's an amazing transformation. I don't care if I'm thin or not. If I had to choose between being thin and heading in the direction of suicide, or being a little bit overweight like I still am, but feeling good about my life, I'll take being overweight and feeling good about my life every single day. And that's the thing people don't understand is it's not just about your waistline. And your waistline is a good indicator things that are good are happening because you see it over time slowly, reducing and, things changing. But it's like, that's not the whole point. That's not the ultimate thing that our health could all be about. Like, we want so much more than just that. And there's so many other ways. So I would love to have a thin waist, but if I never have a thin waist and I still feel good and I love my life and I can do all the things that I do, I'll continue doing what I'm doing. And that's fantastic. So, Wallflower is here. Hello, Donna. Oh no, I wear a CPAP too, and it's nearly impossible to sleep without it. Yeah, it was a rough night last night. I can feel the back of my throat back there is all swollen from me, all night. So not fun. Someday I would love if I could get rid of the CPAP, and I don't know if it'll ever happen or not, but we'll see. Sean says, our little pupper is going to be 15 in November. We tried switching her food and she got the runs really bad. After watching your video, we might try cutting the fat down a bit. Yeah, Sean, I don't know how yours will react compared to ours, but if you cut the fat down and keep it lean, and then if you start with some, I don't know what they're eating now, but if they're on some kind of a kibble or have grains or any of that kind of stuff, start by cutting the fat way down and use a bunch of something like rice. Because if you put those grains in, and then slowly reduce that over time and increase the protein, that helps a lot. And I know Mel, if we get too much fat in her diet, she will immediately get diarrhea or she'll also throw up. So she seems to do best with really lean food, and we have to slowly remove the rice. We started with like 3/4 of our food being rice, and then we've worked it down to where now it's like 1/3 of that food is rice, and we're hopefully eventually going to get her off of the rice completely. So, and the veggies really seem to help stabilize that too. That's why we use the frozen veggies. So maybe watch that video and maybe you guys could do that. You could also do it for like one meal. Like, that's why we feed Mel twice a day. So we feed her smaller portions, but twice a day, because it seems to do better with her tummy. So maybe you could feed yours one meal like that and one meal of whatever they're eating currently, and then slowly work them off. Just like Dr. Berry tells us all to do with keto and carnivore, slowly remove things week by week. Maybe try doing that. That might help. Let's see. Wallflower. Donna says, I thought after losing 80 pounds, the CPAP wouldn't be needed, but I still rely on it. Yeah, I think, some people genetically, their throat tends to close off. And even if they're not overweight, they still struggle. I still am overweight. I still have extra weight to lose. So maybe, but the thing is, even when I was thin, when I was in high school, I snored and I had those issues. I think I've had CPAP or sleep apnea and needed a CPAP for a long time. So, some people just genetically deal with that. And with all the damage I've done to my body for 3 decades, I'm not surprised. And maybe someday I'll get off of it. Maybe I won't, but Jujubee says, wallflower, there's a CPAP needed for weight and inflammation in body structures. You can fix, but there's also a sleep apnea in the brain diet cannot fix. Yeah, and that's maybe what we have, Donna. I don't know. We'll see. Sunny Chronicles is here. Said, good morning, Chris. Happy first day of fall. Well, happy first day of fall to you. Cindy says, just saw Maria Emmerich made a corn dog. Sent it to Dustin. Very cool. Donna, since the standard American diet is the equivalent of human kibble and it affects our brains, the same thing would surely happen to a dog. I totally agree. And Matt says, Chris, I love that you were from Indiana and Ash is from SoCal. I'm from Indiana too, and Sarah Joy is from SoCal. That's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, I didn't know anything about California before I met Ash. So she's from Bakersfield, California. So if y'all want to know why she loves country music so much, she comes from the home of Buck Owens and Dwight Yoakam and Merle Haggard and that whole California country thing. That's why she is what she is. Emily Esau is here. Says, dang, I must have missed the sermon. Made the dog food for my dad's 9-year-old black lab. He's had 2 servings and is in love. Got to find out how he slept last night. That's awesome. Let me know. Update me. Send me an email or something. I would love to know. Holly Springer, anyone else have YouTube only putting commercials during lives on this channel? It is so irritating. Holly, so that's how I get paid. So I know it's annoying. I'm so sorry for that. But if I don't get paid for doing YouTube, I wouldn't be here doing it. So it is set so that commercials pop in, but YouTube does choose where they go. So unfortunately, I can't stop that from happening. But if I did that, I would be spending several hours of my time not making any money, and this channel would not be able to exist. So I apologize, but that is unfortunately what we have to do to be able to be paid. So Cindy says, Chris, your recipes and demeanor are what earned you that silver plaque. It was truly earned and deserved. Well, I appreciate that. P Points wants to know, I grew up near Covington, Kentucky. Do you miss Cincy chili? I do. And actually, I did a recipe video with my newest pasta, the first one, and I actually made a Cincinnati style chili 3-way out of it. So go back and watch that first of my pasta videos. It's the one where I'm holding up the 2 handfuls of the pasta noodles, the carnivore spaghetti. And I did a Cincinnati style chili with that in that video, made a 3-way, and it was amazing. It's one of my favorite things in the world, is Cincinnati style chili. Specifically the Skyline was always my favorite. So yeah, Huntley says he's getting the ads too. Yeah, guys, like I said, I apologize. I know it's annoying, but this is how I feed my family. So I'm sorry. I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Unfortunately, doing this kind of stuff for free would mean I would have to shut down the channel and go back to get a day job. So those ads keep the bills paid, and I'm sorry it's annoying, but unfortunately there's no way to do this otherwise. So Low Carb Spin, good morning, Chris. You're certainly changing lives. Well, thank you. I'm trying. I'm just trying to help people as best as I can. So Frankie over 50 says, I'm just starting keto again after a year. I've stocked up on supplies to make a few loaves of carnivore white bread to freeze and use when needed. So excited. Frankie, I think that's awesome, and I'm so glad you're doing that. Please let me know if I can help. And when you go to make that bread, if you have not made it before, it's a little bit of a balancing act. If you have too much egg white powder, it becomes memory foam. If you don't have enough egg white powder, it sinks and it falls. It's still good, it just falls. So maybe make 1 loaf, lean a little heavy on the egg white powder, and then try it. And if it's like, yeah, that's a little too memory foamy for me, you can back it down a little bit. That way you just have bread that actually holds up. So after you do it a few times, it gets really easy. But eggs are an organic product. They have different weight. They have different water content, all that kind of stuff. So you kind of have to do it a few times to learn what it's supposed to look like. And you'll be like, oh yeah, that looks right. And it's, cooking is a thing that takes practice, and that recipe is just no different. So I tried to average it out and give everybody the best chance of success every single time without it being too memory foamy. I mean, you could add, another quarter cup of egg white powder and it's like, it's going to look amazing. It'll hold up, but you're going to go to eat it and it's going to be like chewing on a memory foam pillow. So I tried to give the best averages that I could, but it can just take practice a couple of times to get it just right. And Frankie also says, I don't think I could do it from scratch with no comfort food. I totally understand. That's the thing. Even if you eventually want to get to where you don't have those things, maybe that's your case, maybe not. It doesn't really matter. You choose what it is you want. But it's like, even if you want to eventually get there, not a lot of people can just flip that like a light switch overnight and be successful. That's, why do addiction recovery centers exist? Because they work you through a process to get off of things. I mean, that's how our brain works. So Lynn says, I'm excited to make your noodles made with beef instead of chicken later today. Noodles are a real comfort food for me, and I get to have them anytime I want now. Us too. I use that all the time. I love that recipe because I've gotten so fast at it. I can make pasta in 30 minutes now. And it's just so easy for me to do. So Lewis says, I used to say a keg is much better than a 6-pack. You're not wrong. There's a lot more to love on right there. So as long as I'm healthy, I don't really care about the stomach being shaped one way or the other. I'd like for it to thin down and maybe eventually have a 6-pack if I could, but I'm not going to make myself miserable trying to get there just to prove to other people I can do it. It's just not worth it. So Karen, the ketovore carnivore community is the best. I agree. They really are wonderful. So Huntley says, Chris, I'm going off the rails. How do I get back on without the withdrawals? I decided to go back to keto and started eating too much keto sweet stuff. Yeah, that's a hard thing. If you're doing carnivore and you go back to keto, you have to remember you're starting to increase your carb count again, and it can flare things up. And especially if you're doing the keto sweets, I know they're keto, but they're also keto only when it's being really controlled, and it can be tough to control. Like, I have a hard time with that. I can't do a lot of the keto sweet stuff. Every now and then I have something, but here's what I do if I'm going to have something like that. I make it, I have it, it's an intentional thing. And the very next day, the very next meal even, right? Like, so if I have, like, say the keto chow muffins that I made, the banana bread muffins, if I had those that night, I'd try not to overdo it. And then the very next meal, which would have been the next day for me, because I eat once, maybe twice a day, but a lot of times I eat once a day. The very next meal, I ate like burger patties to a point where I was stuffed. And so if I have things I don't want, whether it's a cheat meal or keto stuff or any of that, and I don't want that regularly, the very next meal, I overdo my protein and fat with like beef patties. And I go like meat, salt water, super strict. Because what it does for me is it shows this was a treat. This is how I actually eat. And for me personally, that's how I maintain that. And so anytime I have something that goes a little too far one way, I overcorrect and go back the other way with the very next meal. And I make myself so full with protein and fat that there's no way that I could eat any of that sweet stuff. And I just have a hard and fast rule. Absolutely not. And if I start to crave something, if I actually have a craving for a sweet, now I recognize that as being a craving for a sweet. I squash the crap out of that right away. And I go eat beef and beef jerky and bacon and eggs. And I just eat that stuff until I have no more cravings. And I won't have anything other than that kind of stuff. I almost do BBBE or something until I have no more cravings again, because I know what it's like to be in an addiction phase with carbohydrates. And I don't ever want to toy with that again. So there's also certain things I never have. So for me, liquid sugar. Coffee that has any kind of sweetener, like sugar in it. I can get away with some keto sweeteners in coffee. It's okay. I don't do it very often, but I can do it. And it's not a big deal. But like actual sweet coffee or slushies from Sonic or soda or any of that kind of stuff, that's like meth for me. Like that will flare up an addiction immediately for me. So no matter what I do, I never, ever allow myself to have that stuff. Even if I'm having a cheat meal, I just say, nope. That is too big of a temptation, and I avoid that at all costs. So you just got to figure out what are your triggers, stay away from your triggers. And then if you have those other things as treats, overcompensate by going way stricter the very next meal. and keep yourself on track that way. That's my advice. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not an addiction specialist. I'm just a real dude that deals with his own carbohydrate addiction issues, and that's how I handle it. So, let's see if my comment section would not jump on me. Now I got to find out where we were. Okay, there we are. Yeah, so Jujubee says, absolutely, I will never tear anyone down, but if you want to judge me for my lack of gluten and potatoes, going to remind you about surgery and drugs being extreme with kindness always. And I think that's great. We just kindly point out to people like, okay, well, this is your perspective. Here's my perspective, and this is why. And over time, I think that will make a big difference in people's lives. And, not everyone is someone you're going to win over. It's just you just can't convince everyone. They have to choose for themselves. So all we can do is love them where they are and encourage them. And that's just what we try to do. So Alto Eager is here. Morning, just saw the live. Well, I'm glad you're here. Low Carb Spin says, hello, everyone. We're glad you're here, Low Carb Spin. Holly Springer says, the Hinge Health app is a great resource to help with the healing and pain management. It is an at-home exercise program designed individually for each person by physical therapist. Keeps my pain under control. That's really cool. That's great. That's a cool app. Anyone looking for that, go check that out. PJ St. Pierre is here. Good morning, everyone. Well, good morning, PJ. S. Stevenson is here. Hello, Chris. Sunday morning blessings. I'm late. Well, that's all right. We're glad you're here. S. Stevenson is like, one of those OG type people who is just on everything, just like Lynn and Cindy and Jujubee's been here a long time. So many of you are just consistent supporters of Chris Cooking Nashville. And we love you guys. We appreciate all of you so much. I can't do this without you guys. United Carnivores here says, greetings from Tampa Bay. Hello, United Carnivore. We're so glad you're here. Maritza says, I'm thinking of starting a food journal this year, and including your recipes might help me with my accountability. That's a great idea because it's very hard to remember how frequently we've had special things until you write it all down and you go, 4 out of the last 7 meals have been special. Don't really think that makes them very special anymore. So that's a great idea, Maritza. Helping keep yourself accountable and just understanding for yourself where your issue may or may not come from with any given thing that may arise. That's great. That's awesome. Alto Eager says there's a doctor that has some super informative videos about apnea and CPAP and possible alternatives. Yeah, I'm going to do some more research as I get, further along in the journey and lose more weight. Right now, I think there's still extra weight in my throat and that kind of stuff that probably causes the issue. But as I get more of that off in the future, I may see what else I can find just to see. I may always need it. And if that's the case, that's fine. But that's another one. If I could choose to have a 6-pack, or I could choose to never need a CPAP again and not be attached to it when I'm traveling and all that stuff, I would choose to not have the CPAP. The 6-pack would be much less impactful to my life than not needing a CPAP. So Cindy says, my week of keto chow is over, up 1.4 pounds, but attributing it to inflammation due to the neck pain and headaches I have been experiencing since Wednesday night. It's very possible. It's very, very possible. So who knows? But it's amazing you made it through your week of keto chow. That's awesome. Sean says, Friday, Shell and I were on our feet for over 6 hours at the concert. We also went to an amusement park all day yesterday. There's no way we could have done that 4 years ago. Right there with you, man. No way I could have done what I do on stage now or been as active as I am now in the past. It's amazing. Let's see. Jujubee says, well, I'll be darned. It's fall. My gardening heart is very sad at this revelation. Yes, Jujubee is really into gardening, and she has some amazing pictures of great things that she grows. And I'm sure this is the time of year when it's all coming to an end and you're like, oh no, now I have to wait till spring again. Ronbo's chart says, Minnesota here. We love you. Well, we love you, and we're very glad you're here. Thank you for jumping in. We're glad you're here. Sean wants to know how Cindy's glucose readings were after the keto challenge. Just curious. Alto Eager says, I skip ads paid for via premium. Hey, I love that. I appreciate that. Hey, if you pay for YouTube Premium, that's cool, man. That way you don't have to see the ads, and us creators still are able to feed our families. We really appreciate it. So, Sean says, thanks, Cindy and Lynn. It was an amazing time. Couldn't have had better weather for it. And Cindy says, have not checked yet, Sean. After Monday, ketones were 1.5, glucose was 110. There we go. Lynn says, can't wait to see your what I eat in a week video with all of your keto chow, Cindy. That's really cool. Yeah, that's going to be a good one when she shows us all the keto chow she had. And Cindy says, big difference for sure from the egg fast. Yeah, I would imagine so. Jujubee says, Chris, don't apologize. You are giving it for free. You're not gatekeeping stuff behind paywalls. I'm happy to watch ads and run playlists at night when I'm sleeping for extra watch hours. Well, I really appreciate that. And, if I was independently wealthy and I could just do this and never monetize the channel and never put ads on anything, I would. But it's like, at the end of the day, I mean, it takes so much time. I don't think a lot of people realize how much time it takes to do this. I spend probably anywhere from 3 to 6 hours filming one video. I spend probably another 10 to 15 to sometimes even up to 30 hours editing that video. I post that video, which there's a lot of things you have to do behind the scenes on YouTube to be able to get that into the algorithm the right way and everything. That takes another probably hour every time I post a video to get that done. Then I run the Patreon and I run the YouTube memberships groups, where we try to do some behind the scenes stuff. I mean, so I probably put, and that's just for one video. So I probably put 60 to 80 hours a week of time into running my YouTube channel, just the YouTube channel, filming and editing. Then I also have to do the development of the recipes, which is, recipe experimentation. Ash and I are musicians. We're touring. I teach guitar lessons. I mean, like by the time I do all of this stuff, like I work as much now as I did when I had a day job. I just put more time into the YouTube channel. And so it's, I mean, that's what it takes to do this. So the reason I can do this full time and keep our bills paid with YouTube. And so it's, the ads are just unfortunately a major part of how I can afford to do this. And it's, it's like I've said, if I didn't have ads on my videos, I wouldn't be able to afford to do this and pay my bills. And I would either end up on the street or I would just have to shut down the channel and I'd have to go get a day job. And I don't think anybody wants either of those things to happen. At least I hope you guys don't want me to end up on the street. So, and I hope you enjoy the channel enough that you don't want to see it go away. So, let's see. Frankie says, okay, thanks. Yep. I'll make one loaf at a time. Thanks for the tip. Yeah. And here's the thing. Once you get one and you're like, yes, I've got that down, it gets real easy. Then you can make as many as you want and you can throw them in the freezer and do your whole thing. You just want to make sure that you don't make 6 of them all at the same time and then realize, oh, they were all over or under on the egg white powder. And then, feel like you wasted all of that stuff. So yeah, just make them one at a time till you nail it and you know exactly how it looks. And then you can make a whole bunch and keep them all stacked up. It'll make things easier. So Rombo's chart says carb challenge. Can you make a carnivore recipe for a Norwegian favorite called lefse? Us Vikings would love it. You know what? I actually don't know what that is, which is rare for me in the world of food. So I'm going to go research it and I'm going to see what I can do. That's really cool. I love always finding new things like that to try. So Alto Eager says, thank you for the tip on the bread and egg white powder ratio for foam. We'll keep in mind for next attempt. Yeah, it just takes a little. It just takes a little bit of work. So I'll watch ads for life after your noodles recipe, all of them. Jujubee, thank you so much. I just Carl, can I make a t-shirt out of your quote? Are you trying to help people or are you trying to be a douche? Dude, you can post that wherever you want, especially if you want to put my little Chris Cooking Nashville name after it as the person who quoted it. I would love that. I think it's great. And you make all the t-shirts you want. I think it's a really important thing. Tanya is here. Do you have a carnivore recipe for donuts? I don't yet, but I'm sure one will be coming in the future. At least I sure hope so. We'll find out. Donuts are tough. Donuts are a hard thing to do, but we'll see what we can do. Everybody's laughing at Carl. I think that's a great idea, Carl. You should totally should do that. So, going for my walk. I'll catch you in the replay. You're doing a great job, Chris. Milady, thank you very much. Enjoy your walk. We really, really appreciate your support. S. Stevenson gave me a 1999 super chat. S. Stevenson, thank you so much. You just have no idea how much things like that help us. It really means more than I can possibly put into words when people value what we do so much that they want to support it. It really means a lot. So thank you so much. Rock on for S. Stevenson and their support. Just amazing. Rombo's chart says we're making Cheetos today to have for the Vikings game. Yeah, you are. I hope you guys really enjoy those. Those are fun. So play around with that temperature of the oil. If it gets too hot, they burn. If it's too cold, they don't puff quite right. So play around with them just one at a time until they puff, and you kind of get kind of a nice float and puff without them getting too brown. Go from there, and then once you figure out what that temperature of that oil is, based on the kind of the water content of your dehydrated Cheeto base noodles. Once you get that down, you can fry the rest of them and you'll be really successful. So, Chaotic Carnivore says, Carl Keto Dog. I would totally have a shirt like that. I love that. I think it'd be great if you guys had that. Maybe I should put together a shirt like that and put it on my website. If I put a shirt like that on my website, would you guys buy a shirt like that? Especially if I tried to figure out how to not get the most expensive t-shirt that Spreadshirt makes. If I could just have like a budget friendly one that said that, would you guys wear something like that? Because I don't know if you guys know, I have a whole merch shop on my website. You can go and buy t-shirts and all different kinds of stuff. But if you'd like a shirt like that, let me know. Lewis L is here, says, hi, Chris. Hello, Lewis. Let's see. We have Uncle Big Guy says, I had a CPAP machine for a year, and when losing weight, being on keto carnivore stopped. When visiting my mom, she heard no noise when I slept and had checked if I was living. That's great. I'm glad you were able to get off of it. That's wonderful. Becky is here, says, good morning from Newport, Oregon. I'm full carnivore 60 days and have only lost 7 pounds and have 45 pounds to go. I'm staying the course. Any suggestions? Yes, Becky. I have 2 things. Number 1 is take that word only out from in front of lost 7 pounds. When you say I'm full carnivore 60 days and I have lost 7 pounds, first of all, congratulations on losing 7 pounds. Because in 60 days, so that's basically 8 weeks. That means you're losing about a pound a week. That's pretty normal. So the other thing is I have 45 pounds to go. Right. You do have 45 pounds to go. I'm assuming. I'm not there and I'm not a doctor, so I can't give you any medical advice or tell you what you need to do with your weight. But I'm assuming you're correct. You have 45 pounds to go. But how many hundreds of other things in your body need to be healed? Because your body can't lose weight until everything heals and functions properly. It may lose some, but it can't focus on losing excess fat unless it has healed more important things first. And so, as Dr. Barry always says, vitamin P, which is patience. And I know that's annoying because you want to lose weight and you want to see that number go down, but the weight is nothing more than the force of gravity pulling on your body. It doesn't tell you anything else about your health. There are so many other things that are more important than the number on that scale. The number on the scale will come down. But if that's the thing you focus on, you're going to get up inside your own head and you ruin your ability to be successful. I've done it. I can tell you it does not help you. So patience, continuing to do what you do. And the longer you do this, the more you will figure out, where do you feel your best? Where does your body want to go? How do you do this? How do you feel? And you start to realize that the weight will do what it's going to do and it will come off when your body is ready, as long as the rest of your body is healthy and feels good. That's the most important thing. It really, really is. And if people look at you and it's like, you're not losing weight and you look this way and you look that, that's the nut job dogmatic people that don't understand that there's so much more to your health than what the scale says. The scale is one marker that matters a little bit, but there's 1,000 other things inside your body that are way more important than what that scale says. The scale will follow after all those other things get where they need to be. So I have not lost a lot of weight, really, and maybe I've even gained a few pounds. I'm not sure. It's probably been 6 months. And I'm just not that worried about it. Like, I just make sure I'm doing what I need to do and I'm trying to feel good. And sometimes I experiment a little bit here and there, trying to figure out what I need to do and, whatever. But it's like, as long as I'm feeling good and I'm not struggling, I just keep going and it's all good. It really, really is. Like, don't beat yourself up and don't feel like you are somehow struggling or doing something wrong. You're doing great. Carnivore for 60 days. That's a huge accomplishment just in and of itself. And the fact you've lost 7 pounds, that's another accomplishment. I'm assuming, I may be wrong. I don't know how old you are, but if you're like if you're not like, 30 years old, like if you're 40, 50, anything, like that part of your lifetime, most people that are over like 25, 35 are gaining a little bit of weight every single year. They never lose weight. Not without doing extreme things with like exercise and diets and weird stuff. So if you're just eating carnivore and you're eating until you're fully satisfied, that's the other thing. Make sure you're not eating too little, because if you're not eating until you're full because you're trying to convince your body to lose weight, you're essentially kind of starving yourself, and then your body doesn't want to lose weight because it doesn't think it has enough food. So make sure you're eating to satiety and you have plenty of fat in your diet, plenty of food, and you're happy with that. And as long as you're doing that and you're losing a little bit of weight here and there, you are killing it and succeeding. And anyone who tells you different is ignorant and has no clue what they're talking about. So just my 2 cents. But I think you're doing great, and I'm so glad you're here. Jujubee says, have you made your noodles with shrimp yet? Am I imagining this? I think I'm confusing the two crazy ketos mac and cheese with your noodles. I'm just envisioning shrimp noodles in a shrimp scampi recipe. So I have not made this recipe with shrimp. I have another recipe that I did mac and cheese with where I used shrimp to make the noodles. It was kind of the precursor to this noodle recipe. So I have done that, but I might have to try this recipe sometime with shrimp, because I think a shrimp scampi made with shrimp noodles in this way would probably be very good. TB Living Free says thumbs up and leave a comment for the algos. Yes, please thumbs up if you haven't yet, and leave me a comment in the chat. Say hello if you're watching and you haven't yet. Rombo's Charts, I'm up for shrimp pad thai. Yeah, pad thai recipe would be very good if I could figure out a keto version of that. Yeah, here's Cindy. 7 pounds in 60 days is awesome. Just stay the course. There are more than likely other things going on in your body that are non-scale victories. I totally agree. That's the deal. Cindy is smart. Cindy knows. Cindy's got this down. She's like stable and she's not in a rush. And she's a good example of someone who just let's see. As Stevenson says, Chris's pasta freezes very well. We make huge batches at a time. Yeah, that pasta recipe is real easy to like refrigerate or freeze and reheat, and you can use it in batches. It's fantastic. I agree. Great point. That's a fun one. It's a very useful and adaptable recipe, I feel like. Madam Beck is here. Said, what would Roy Rogers do on keto? Stay away from his triggers. Yes, absolutely. Lynn says, I made that egg loaf yesterday. Yummy. So glad you shared the recipe. Thank you, Cindy. Awesome. Cindy out there sharing recipes. Jujubee, I don't try to win anyone over. I do me. I don't expect the world to bend to me. I will ask questions about food and plan my own when and if needed. I will never be that person, but I do advocate for me. And that's a great way to do it. And by setting that example, people who are looking for the answer, they will see you. They will be inspired by what you do. So I don't go out and try to convince people to do anything. I just do what I'm doing and post my recipes and show people, and everybody finds it. And it's what happens. So, Jujubee also said, oh, Addicted to Antlers is here. I'm late, but here before it's over. Well, we're glad you're here, Addicted to Antlers. Jujubee says, if you want to talk, you know where to find me. Ketovore is hard. Morbidly obese is hard. Choose your hard. That's right. That is right. And everyone's talking about how being a self-advocate is so important. I totally agree. Jujubee says, I have 2 or 3 pounds of 96% lean beef in the fridge. Guess what I'll be making for dinner or lunch today? We shall see. I'm bidding dairy farewell for a few weeks, but I'm using it up. That's great. I think you'll enjoy it. This is a very funny name, Booby Goats. I have upped the protein so much for my family's meals and giving them small amounts of veggies. They haven't said anything. I'm the only carnivore in my home. And that's the thing. Like, you just kind of, just make things for people to kind of move them in that direction. And for the most part, people don't even notice. I mean, because it's not that weird. It's only weird because people have decided it's weird. If you just do it and you just make it normal, no one even cares. Cindy says, out of the normal schedule for me, I'll be live today at 2 with Lori Brick. Well, everybody make sure to go give Cindy a like and a thumbs up and a subscribe and watch her with Lori Brick today. That should be a great live stream. Andrea is here, says, stress and health issues due to cancer surgery. 3 sad eating family members are derailing me. My fault. Right now, I can suddenly develop meat and egg aversions. Hope a new doc in New York City can fix me. Well, Andrea, I hope that everything goes well. I know those weird aversions like that and finding out specifically what may be causing those things can be difficult. So praying that that goes well for you and that you can get back on track with that. And we're here to support you. It's not easy, but we're here to help any way we can. Empress Pyra, Dr. William Lills, a phenomenon named to add to the research rabbit hole. He's got regenerative weight loss, hot tips, and shorts and things. Cool. Let's see. Lynn says, I saw the recipe in the comment section of one of her What I Eat in a Week videos. I'm sure she'll share again, Jujubee47. There we go. So it's in the comment section of one of her What I Eat in a Week videos. Karen says, I need something where I can incorporate more eggs in my day. Well, Karen, you've come to the right place. I have many recipes that include eggs. So troll around my channel. I have a recipe for egg bites, like the sous vide style egg bites, like Starbucks has, but you can make them in a muffin tin in your oven. Those are amazing. Many of my noodles incorporate eggs. My breads incorporate eggs. I have a number of different things that incorporate eggs. So check out my recipes and enjoy. You can go to my website, chriscookingnashville.com, click on the recipe cards page, and there's a search box at the top. You should be able to type in eggs, and everything that has eggs in it as an ingredient should pop up. But if not, troll through the recipe cards there and look at the ingredients, and you'll see eggs all over the place. So really great. There's Cindy sharing the recipe for you guys, so that's cool. Alto Eager says, regarding freezing the meat noodles, can they be vacuum sealed or will they squish? They might squish a little bit, but as long as you don't overdo the vacuum sealing, it should be fine. And they should pretty well spring right back because they're protein. I believe S. Stevenson has told me that that's what they do is they vacuum seal in portions and then freeze. And then they take them out, open them up, and take them frozen and put them right in whatever they're making, sauce or, whatever, and just cook it until it's all heated up and serve. So there you go. Let's see. Jujubee says, Cindy, love you. Looking for easy weekday breakfasts before work. Yeah, that's a real thing. So let's see. Alto Eager, LMAO, Chipmunk Battle Royale outside my window this morning. Well, hey, there you go. It's like a show right outside. Gotta love that. And Cindy's just telling everybody that they are welcome for her sharing the recipe. It was created by ChatGPT. That's funny. ChatGPT. Struggling, y'all. I'm still not very deep into my coffee. ChatGPT is a really cool tool. Ash and I use it to help us write stuff, and then we go through and we edit. It just saves us a lot of time. It's kind of like having a little personal assistant. It's great. S. Stevenson is headed out. Have a great day. God bless. Well, same to you. Have a wonderful day. Carl says, I'll put the design together and you can sell the t-shirts on your merch site. That sounds awesome. Sean says, you darn Skippy. I would love a shirt like that. I like in-your-face t-shirts like that. It really makes people think, well, cool. Maybe I'll consider putting something like that on the website just for a short time or something for a special edition. Chaotic Carnivore says, I'm heading out. The roommates made a wonderful birthday brunch for me. Hope everyone here has a fantastic day. Chaotic Carnivore, happy birthday. Did not know it was your birthday, but happy birthday and enjoy time with your roommates. Enjoy your brunch and let us all know how we can support you. And everybody, for her birthday, if you haven't yet, go over to Chaotic Carnivore, subscribe to her channel, watch her videos. Let's show her some support and let's help her get her way back on track and feeling good about this and show her the community is here to support her. So Huntley would buy that shirt. Awesome. One more doll is here. Says, Jujubee, you can get a muffin tin, spray it with beef tallow, and then add slices of ham, crack an egg inside the ham cup, and whatever spices you want. Bake it 412 to 14 minutes till the whites are cooked. Sounds like a cool one to me. Easy recipe, too. I like that. Hey, there is Lynette. Happy birthday to Chaotic Carnivore, she says. Lynette, I'm so glad you are here. We were talking about Keto Chow, and Cindy was talking about her whole week of Keto Chow. And guys, Lynette is a rock star. Lynette is who I work with at Keto Chow, and she's kind of my contact point there. And she's a huge supporter of the channel. She's a very wonderful lady. and she keeps us going, and we do a lot of work with her with both salty and the keto chow stuff. Lynette, those salty packs have saved our bacon. And yesterday, again, we were driving, and I was doing a little quick live stream yesterday. I believe maybe you might have been on there. I can't remember anymore because I was driving the car. But we had those salty packs in our bottled water from the gas station yesterday, and I was feeling run down and dehydrated. And man, those things made me feel better. So just amazing. Lynn says, you have lost a whole person, Chris. Fantastic. Yes, I have. 130 pounds, give or take a pound or two here and there. And I've got more to go. I've got probably another 50 to 70 I'd like to lose. But again, I'm not in any rush. It'll happen when it happens. And if you guys haven't seen, go to my community tab on YouTube. You'll see some before and after pictures and posts I've done. You'll see the 130 pounds that's gone. So, Tanya says, I hate organ meat, so I get grass-fed liver pills from Sacred Human. It's really good for you. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. I love organ meat, but if you just can't stand it, that's a great way to get it into your diet. One More Doll says, I stalled for many months, but then did Maria Emmerich's PSMF carnivore challenge and finally started losing again. Cool. There's an option for you guys. One More Doll says, love your channel, Chris. Well, thank you. We love you being here, and I appreciate your support so much. We can't do this without you guys. Uncle Big Guy's got to go. Everyone enjoy your day. Uncle Big Guy, you have a great day, my friend. We appreciate you being here. SD Bradley, Sean says, to coin a keto simple phrase, consistency is key. As long as you're consistent, you will get results. It might not show on the mirror or on the scale, but you will feel the difference. That's right. That is right. Consistency is what it's all about. Hey, speaking of keto simple, he says eggs and coffee is life. What are you doing, Dustin? Aren't you supposed to be busy and being lazy on vacation doing nothing right now? I think he has maybe a wedding or something. I can't remember exactly what it says. It's some event like that. He's out doing something. So I had to pick up the slack, Dustin. There's Keto Simple. Everybody make sure you've gone and subscribed to him and come join him and me and a bunch of other folks that are here in his live chat on Sunday mornings. And let's have some fun over there with Dustin. So Empress says, LOL, now you have me thinking about designing carnivore donuts. Asian deep fried donut recipe might give design a molecular or physics insights. Yeah, we might have to take a look at that. Yeah, Cindy wants to know how your vacation's going. And Dustin says, I'm awake sort of, watching with one eye open. Well, I probably look better out of one eye than I do out of both. So you're probably being smart that way. Donna Wallflower says, I made carnivore mashed potatoes yesterday with pork ribs. My hub said the potatoes, quote unquote, potatoes, because they're not really potatoes, were better than the ones last week, which were real potatoes. Man, that makes me so happy. I love that. When my grandpa, who passed away here a couple months ago, my mom would make my carnivore mashed potatoes for him, and he liked them better than regular mashed potatoes. He said they were good. But he's like, man, you can't eat very many because they're very filling because they're basically just pure protein. But I'm so glad. That makes me so happy. Dustin says, it's been a lot of work helping the wedding go off without a hitch. I understand. I'm about to throw myself into the exact same pool this week. Oh, let's see. Rumbo's chart says, Chris, I've been watching you since the beginning, watching you for recipes and watching Tom Stalauer and Dr. Stan Ekberg for blood sugar and exercise info. I've lost 60 pounds in a year. Congratulations, man. I'm so glad. And it does my heart so much good to know that recipes like this just help people. You know, it's like, it makes me happy. That's why I do what I do, because I needed help and a lot of this stuff didn't exist. So I just created it for myself. And I've always said, what's the point of being good at something if you don't use it to help other people? So I put together the channel and started doing this for my own stability, but then also to share what I was finding. So I think that's awesome. Let's see. Dustin says the internet is terrible here, currently buffering. Bummer. Everybody's saying happy birthday to Chaotic Carnivore and hello to everybody. Alto Eager says +1 sub for Chaotic Carnivore. Thank you very much for doing that. I know she will appreciate that. She just needs support, guys, just like I did. She just needs support and she's doing good stuff. So just, you know, showing her that she's not alone. It's what we do for each other here. It's how we do this. So Jolene is here, says good morning and God's blessings to everyone. Well, same thing to you, Jolene. We're glad you're here. Keto Simple says, I'll have to watch the replay. Thanks, Chris, for picking up my slack. I'll see everyone next Sunday. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. And you are very welcome. I'm most happy to come on here and just interact with the community. It's been fun this morning. So, Jujubee said, Chris, I love that you said gone. They aren't lost. We aren't going out looking for them. Yes, that's right. That's right. Absolutely. Alto Eager says +1 sub for Keto Simple too. That's fantastic. Well, Alto Eager, make sure if you're free next Sunday, come jump into the chat with Keto Simple with Dustin, because he's quite entertaining. I don't know if he preaches as much as I do. I wouldn't say that, but he has a majestic beard to make up for it. So it's great. Sean says, hiya, Dustin. Hope you and Chandra had a good time at the wedding. Alto Eager says, I just hit 80 pounds down yesterday from the current journey and have passed 100 down from my max weight. That is amazing. Congratulations. How often outside of the keto and carnivore world do you all hear of people saying that kind of thing? It's amazing. It's amazing what keto and carnivore can do. So, Lindy is here, says, hello from Mississippi Gulf Coast. Love your channel. Well, Lindy, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here, and I appreciate that you are watching, that you love the channel. Alto Eager says, I have 70 to go. Yeah, you're in the same boat I am. I got probably about something around that same to go too. So Maritza says, miss you, Dustin. Yeah, Dustin, we all miss you. So, well, guys, we are caught up with the chat, and we are a little bit after 9 o'clock. We are an hour and 42 minutes into this live stream. And if you guys aren't tired of my voice yet, well, then you are better people than I probably would be. And I love every single one of you. But I'm going to finish up my coffee. I'm going to go help my wife get everything put together after our trip. And we're going to get prepped for this week, because it is going to be a long week of a bunch of wedding stuff with family coming into town and all different kinds of stuff. If you have not yet, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button, comment, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel. Every now and then I'm going to pop in and do things like this. Probably not on Sundays, because that's Dustin's normal time. But I do love going live just kind of randomly and doing surprises and answering questions and all that kind of stuff for you guys. So I really enjoy doing this. I love you guys. You are so much of the reason Ash and I have been so successful in our keto and carnivore journey, because of your support. And just getting to do this for you guys means so much. We love all of you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. All of my links are going to be down below. Dustin's channel is linked in the description. Don't forget to go find Chaotic Carnivore, subscribe to her channel, and subscribe to that Keto Simple channel. He is going to be live next Sunday as usual, and I would love to see you there in the chat. I'm hoping I'll be there in the chat saying hello to you guys as well. And I just love you guys. We really appreciate you. Thank you for being here. If you guys need anything, you know where I am. Go to my website, chriscookingnashville.com. You can always get a hold of me there. And of course, you can use any of my affiliate links if you like to support the channel. My Amazon link, my Keto Chow link. I've got some other stuff down there, and we got some really cool stuff coming soon. Don't forget to go watch the beef noodles being turned into cheeseburger helper that I released yesterday. It's an amazing recipe. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. So thank you guys for being here. This is Chris Cooking Nashville, standing in for Dustin from Keto Simple today. Guys, make sure to eat your meat, as it says. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It's right there. Guys, make sure to eat your meat. Love your life. And we're going to see you probably in the kitchen next, or maybe here in the studio for live streams and recipes and a bunch of craziness. Love every single one of you guys, and we'll catch you later. Bye.